Hi, and thanks for watching. In this video, I wanted to look at another Bagua palm technique. This is the spearing palm. The spearing palm is one of the key techniques, one of the primary techniques for several of the Bagua styles. Yinfu style, Magui style, put a lot of emphasis on this particular hand technique. As you may know, with Bagua, it's distinct amongst other martial arts in that it uses a lot of open palm techniques as opposed to punching techniques. And so in addition to doing the standard training of the circle walking and the postures and the changes, another important aspect is drills and practices focusing on a better understanding of each of these hand techniques. So for this video, I wanted to look at the spearing palm, the hand posture, key requirements for doing the drill properly, and some of the understanding around why this is seen as such an important and fundamental technique to be using. So first of all, of course, spearing palm. Spearing palm is coming through with the hand in a sort of a spearing shape in this hand fashion here. With this technique, of course, main thing is that we have the fingers together and the thumb tucked in. If the thumb is out and you start to try and do this technique, you're going to hurt your thumb. And so the technique is this extension and this piercing through a person, your opponent's defenses, using a hand technique that gets past their guard, past their movements. It can also be used to intercept and deflect any incoming strikes as well. Right? When it's done as a drill, there's of course lots of different ways of practicing the drill. Straight line stepping drill would be something that would look like this, from one side to the other. Right? Just alternating sides from the front. The technique is one where, in terms of the footwork, it's something where from having one foot forward, the front foot takes a half step forward, and then you follow through with the technique with the other foot stepping through. So again, if the technique is done on one side, that front foot extends forward and then step through to the other side. As you're doing that, of course, the hand is in this posture with the thumb and fingers together, creating a spear shape with the elbow straight and the shoulder set down. And also, when we're doing the technique is not one where the weight is forward. The weight is, if anything, set back. Now, of course, there's going to be small variations depending on the style of Bagua, but these things are all relatively, I think and hope, universal. If you have your weight forward, then it's just a liability of you getting pulled forward. So though you're spearing forward, the weight is set back. Right? So in terms of the requirements, that's the first one. Coming through, weight is set back. Second requirement is that the arm is set into the body. Shoulder is set down. Shoulder blade is holding the arm into the body, and that the arm is straight coming through. Right? So those are the main requirements. For the drill, the other hand is usually by the inside of the elbow. And so this allows for the technique to come through on one side and then smoothly come through on the other side. Right? So having it here allows you to come through with very little lag. When there's an opportunity, if you come through and there's a strike and you get past the person's defenses, then you can reach in further with the next technique. With this stepping drill, it's one where the front foot steps and the other steps through, and that step through launches. So the other requirement is that it's the body moving forward and the movement through the shoulder girdle that's applying generating the force or directing the force for this technique. So from here, coming through to the other side, and again, right, it's this movement through the shoulder girdle as well as the advancing through the footwork that provides this technique with its strength. There's sort of three advantages why this is seen as such a useful and important technique to practice. With this hand technique, first one is that it's said that comparing this, when the striking distance to this, we actually have something that reaches just that little bit further. So we have just a little more reach with this if we were going to consider these ends of the tips of the fingers as, well, actually we can use them as a strike, though. If you're going to think of that, then you're striking for soft cavities, right? Soft areas, armpit, into the throat, in between the ribs, if you're really good at aiming, into the abdomen, right? So these sorts of soft areas, because of course this is not a very robust area to be striking with. So we need to be considering striking with into soft areas. Actually, more important and more useful for that, and still related to this extra distance, is that we are just trying to get past the other person's defenses. We're trying to pierce their guard, right? Getting past that, over top, underneath of that guard hand, right? That guard hand is here. You can come through with the pierce. Its low profile means that even a small space, and you can work your way into that. So this extension is not just thinking about it in relation to striking, but in terms of piercing and spearing past your opponent's defenses. The second advantage that is often described is that it has an ability to change its direction. It's an interesting thing where when we're striking, of course, there's different faces, areas of the fist that we can be striking with, different striking surfaces, and there's even some variation in terms of the angle that we're striking at, in terms of how we position the hand. But the wrist is always set, right? For a closed fist strike, we need the strength to hold the wrist in a steady state. Otherwise, we're just going to sprain our wrist anytime we hit anything. It's not going to deliver any force, right? With the spearing palm, there's an opportunity for some change of angle through the wrist. So it's quite a different kind of technique that way. Most common is something where we come through here. The other person intercepts it and catches that. But then from there, we can come through and underneath, and then we can do a snaking kind of motion and continue the pierce, continue the spearing technique. And that is from the changing of direction. So the second advantage, first advantage being it has this extra reach. This second is that we can come around, we can pierce or spear over top, we can spear off to the one side or to the other, and that has this directionality that a fist strike is lacking or is not as capable of. And then the third reason that this is seen as a very favorable technique is that it has adaptability for the follow-on strike with the same hand. So from a pierce, we can come through into a ramming palm, right? From the same pierce, we come through with a follow-on pierce with the other hand. We can come in through a pierce or a spearing palm, meet a lot of resistance, and then change it to a grab and a drag, a dragging palm, right? And so this kind of variation in the technique requires very little in terms of changing anything. From here, we can follow through almost immediately into a next technique and a next technique and a next technique. So it's very fast. It has the reach, it has the adaptability, and it has the speed. And so these are the reasons why this technique is seen as an important one to drill and often in techniques is one of the first ones to apply, because from there's so many different things that can be done. So that is the spearing palm. I hope this video is useful for you. Keep training, keep practicing, and take care.